Hey guys, welcome back to Unknown Territory. This is the man they call Dave, and I am here in the studio with the one, the only KVK. And we're gonna do a little bit of a Minisode here today because we feel bad.
Yes,
honestly, I feel bad. We haven't put out anything in over a month and a half, and you guys deserve something.
You definitely deserve something. I gotta tell you, Dave, I am totally apologetic right now. It's been a while since you and I have been together here in the Unknown Territory studio, and I think we owe it to not only ourselves but to the fans out there that we start delivering a little bit more content on a regular basis, and I think you agree with me on this one.
I do, but then again, KVK, it was not your fault. It wasn't mine. You know, I sprained my wrist. I had to move.
Got a lot of things of life getting in the way.
Everything gets in the way. So basically, this is going to be an Unknown Territory MS, which I'm going to call a Minisode. Last about 20 to 30 minutes. Now, what KVK has planned is he's going to run off a bunch of topics to me. Ignore my dog in the background, I'm sorry. He's going to run off a bunch of topics, rapid fire to me, and we're going to discuss them. Hopefully you guys will enjoy, because most of it has to do with what you've all been waiting for. Ancient aliens.
Yes, we have been promising this for quite some time.
You have the floor, my friend.
I thought that tonight, Dave, I think it would be a little bit more interesting for not only you, but also your fans, that we just randomly talk about topics that are affiliated with this topic, in that in general, and you get your perspective on it along with mine, and we come to some sort of either conclusion or disagreement or so on and so forth. And if you guys, while you're watching this, you want to leave comments in the bottom, by all means, we're happy to listen to what you guys have to say. But without further ado, we're going to get started. Are you ready, Dave?
All right, I'm good to go for the first part of the show.
All right, I think the first thing that we're going to talk about is the Temple Mount in Jerusalem.
Mount in Jerusalem. All right. Why don't you hit it off right off the bat?
Okay. I thought this was an interesting topic to talk about when it comes to Dave, because Dave being more in tune when it comes to the Bible, in a sense, that you would understand this a little bit more than most people. Mm-hmm. Okay, not to say that anybody out there doesn't understand Bible studies or this and so forth, but Dave, as you well know, and you have professed that you're an ordained minister, so you understand
I am a chaplain.
Okay,
yes.
So I guess we're not going to waste any time in boring you about what the Temple Mount is and what it means and this and so forth.
Well, blah, blah, why don't you explain it to the listeners? The listeners are the people that I want this information to get out to, especially if we're speaking about ancient alien theory.
Okay. Well, basically what Temple Mount is the location of the first Jewish temple, which was erected by King Solomon a long, long time ago.
Now, didn't King Solomon also have a ring, a staff, and a crown, and was able to control demons?
Yes. He had what we would refer to as the Star of David today. He had a magical ring that was given to him that had the seal of Solomon on it. And with this ring, he was able to control the demons. And what the demons did for him...
52 demons?
Yes. And what the demons would do for King Solomon is that they would help him build his temple.
Build the temple, yes.
Okay? Because if anybody has seen depictions of the temple itself in Renaissance art or this and so forth, it was a pretty big temple for its time. And even if you go to Temple Mount today, even the western wall and some of the temple that still exists in the wall structure, that's quite a big structure there. Okay, it's not something that you normally would. It's not something you would normally build for people at the time.
It's kind of around that time of like ziggurats.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about this is that this area in and of itself is registered as a very sacred place, not only for Jews but also for Muslims and also Christians. In fact, today there's the Dome of the Rock that exists on top of the Temple Mount, and that entire area in and of itself has many different affiliations when it comes to religions. Okay, we all are familiar with the story of Abraham and Isaac and being sacrificed in Genesis. That's what is sacred to both Christians and Jews. And also, this is also the place in Muslim tradition where Muhammad ascended into heaven to meet Allah. Okay? But the thing that's interesting about this place in general is the whole concept of the Temple Mount itself, is that the temple must be erected in a specific area and raised
in a specific direction, as far as I know.
Absolutely.
Each angle has to be put north, east, south, west in a certain position.
Absolutely. But so, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering, what the hell does this have to do with ancient aliens? Well, for anybody who is studying ancient aliens and ancient alien theory...
Oh, pardon you.
Excuse me.
Somebody had a little too much soda today.
Anybody who studies ancient alien theory will understand that the Temple Mount concept in that of itself is that this is the place where God was supposedly resident. Okay? And this is where people flocked to worship. So the question is that there was some sort of power that was drawing these people to this area, to this specific area. Okay? There's some sort of energy source that exists in this area that would make people want to come.
Yeah.
Okay. So the general basis around that is that principle. Okay. Now, at this point, I just wanted to get your perspective on this and see how you feel about this, Dave.
I find it interesting, but I don't find it 100% credible.
True. And you, in speculations?
I don't. Basically, what I would say is I do not see the Temple Mount really having anything to do with the ancient alien theory. There are so many other places that have much more credibility.
Probably more
than Temple Mount.
I would say more suitable to that would be on the border of Lebanon in Syria, which is Baalbek. And we all know about that. Okay.
Well, they might not.
This is another temple complex, just like Temple Mount, and it was sacked by the Romans and the Greeks at a point in time where they built Roman.
Well, make sure you let them know exactly where this is, because you said that so quickly. That listeners can look it up themselves and create their own conclusions.
This site itself is located on the borders of Lebanon and Syria. So it basically straddles...
And it's called what?
It's called Baalbek. You go on Google Earth...
B-A-L-B-E-C-K?
B-A-L-L-E-K.
Okay.
You look up on Google Earth, you just type it in, it will literally take you directly to the site. Okay? It's... From an aerial view, it is twice as big as Temple Mount. And the stones that are used there...
Are not from the region.
No. Not only are they not from the region, but you're talking about stones that weigh anywhere in an excess of 500 tons. Okay? Some of them even more. You're talking about 1,000 tons. Okay? 3 of these stones in the base of the mount are actually 1,000 pounds apiece, which means that these 3 stones would literally have to be carved and then levitated or lifted into place. I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody of that time, and you're talking about a structure that's estimated to be 9,000 years old.
Stonehenge!
Oh yeah.
Think about it.
You're talking about lifting stone on top of stone. That's over 1,000 tons. Okay? There's something that's askew here.
Now we're only going to have, because this is a mini-sode, we're only going to have one break. But before we go into the break, I do want to say that KVK is a card-carrying member of the Ancient Astronaut Theory. Am I correct?
Damn proud of it, too.
I am not. I am just the man they call Dave. I take in all ideas. I listen to everything. So this guy knows what he's talking about as far as Ancient Astronaut Theory. If you guys believe it, leave your comments below. We're going to be going into the one and only break for this tiny little mini-sode, because we're hitting about the 12-minute mark. So we'll be right back at you. Hey guys, and we're back on unknown territory. This is the man that called Dave here with KVK.
What's up, guys?
One or two other things he wants to bring up with me before this mini-sode ends. Because we're about ready at the 15-minute mark, and the mini-sodes are about half an hour each. So, hit me.
All right, Dave, we're going to talk about the subject that intrigues me most about not only ancient aliens, but also the UFO phenomenon in and of itself. And now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about alien abduction.
Really? Okay, alien abduction. You want to go that route?
Yes, because it's one of these things that it cannot be ignored anymore.
Okay.
It's a pain in the ass, okay? As many times as people are recording that they've been taken by aliens, okay? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There's probably a lot of people out there that do it just to get their name in the newspaper and get a little attention, but there are perfectly normal people that come from all different walks of life that have these dramatic things happen to them. And
okay, well, name me 4 people. Now, I'm holding up my hand to him, too, right now in the studio. Give me 4 people, and couples are included as double. Give me 4 people that have been abducted with a true story.
Well, you can always, the first one that always comes to mind is Betty and Barney Hill. Okay?
I was thinking of that, too.
This is 19...
Okay, so that counts as 2 people.
You got Travis Walton.
Okay, that's 3.
You got Betty Andreasson.
Okay, that's 4.
And, let's see.
Famous
Kim Carlsberg.
Okay, that's 5. Give me the one that's notorious for the book Communion.
Oh, that's Phil Stryber. Stryber Street?
Nope, not Phil. Nope.
His last name is like...
Stryber.
Yes.
William.
Whitley
Stryber.
Stryber, yes.
Okay, so you got 6, so go on. You know your stuff.
This is an interesting topic for me because it's just when you first hear about it. I've been fascinated since I was a little kid when it came to this because it was just so bizarre and so out there that it had to be something that was made up. But the more and more that you research it and the more you see people's testimony and actual eyewitness accounts of what happened to them, they are sincere when this happened to them.
Now, what does this have to... How does alien abduction connect to the ancient alien theory?
The reason why it connects to ancient alien theory
That's what I want to know.
Is because alien abduction has been going on for thousands and thousands of years.
Well,
there's many...
Humanity's only been around for, what, 3,200 years?
Or so they say.
3,200 years.
Or so they say. You got to take into account that we are finding more with scientific evidence that we have a lot more primitive human societies that exist in a remote past. We're not talking about anatomically normal humans. We're talking about Neanderthals, Cro-Magnon, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. You got to think to yourself along the line of the evolutionary path that there has to be some sort of missing link here. And science...
Well, wouldn't you call the missing link Bigfoot? Sasquatch?
There could be a part of that that's actually a part of that.
JT and I did discuss in a short term on an episode that was a couple of months back about Bigfoot, about being the missing link.
I believe you and I did an episode about that too, and how it tied into the extraterrestrial.
We did way back in the day. Way back in unknown territory. I think you were the first one on this show, KVK. I think you were the very first one on. And we talked about the Bigfoot and alien connection.
And I made the statement that the Bigfoot creature in and of itself was the first of the entire...
you brought up the Nephilim.
I
remember you brought up the Nephilim.
Well, yes, that too. That being in folklore and legend, and so forth. But I also made the statement that the Bigfoot creature in and of itself was the very first archetypes when it came to the original hominid creatures on this planet. And the alien creatures actually saw them. So, technically speaking, if it wasn't for alien intervention, this planet would have been overrun by Bigfoots. Is basically what I was saying. So they came to this planet. As much as this is to your chagrin, because I know how much you love Bigfoot, but I know how much. But I also know how much you like alternative opinions on this as well.
I have an open mind, so I'm willing to hear you out.
So
I have an open mind.
So you look at it from the perspective of if extraterrestrial beings did come to this planet and they were looking to advance a species that's on this planet, you would think that the Bigfoot creature would be like the most advanced of it. But you're talking about brute humanoids, hairy, brutish people. So they decided to put their genetic marker on it, and through, you're talking thousands of years of testing again and again and again, and isolation, by the way, because you're talking about pockets of different types of people being placed all over the world.
Yes.
You know, Neanderthals are not found in specific parts of Asia. They're mostly found in Europe. You'll find different parts of the human genome in different areas. So what that says to me is that these humanoid creatures are placed in strategic areas because they're basically a petri dish. And the extraterrestrials are tweaking the genetic code to finally get to the perfect being that they want in their image. Okay? That's the basis of where that comes from. But as far as going back into the abduction point, okay?
Yeah, let's go back. Let's trap it back to the abduction thing.
That's pretty much where that comes from. In terms of today, you're talking about tweaking the human genetic code into being something more advanced. You could see a lot more people becoming more advanced later during the days. You know what I'm saying? They're becoming more intelligent.
I do.
They're becoming more intelligent. They're becoming more physically inept. Okay, we're getting into an age where computers are starting to take over. You know, and it's not anything of any kind of strangity to them. And the one thing that seems to be going on here is with a lot of abductees, they're talking about hybrids now. Okay? And this is a common thread in alien abduction lore, is that when they're taken aboard the ship, you know, you hear the same old story, they're placed on a table, this is done to them, this is done to them, that's over. But there's
they would essentially sexually assault males and females.
Sperm is
for
being
sperm or ovaries.
Eggs are taken, sperm is taken, and whatever is being done with this sperm and egg is being taken and genetically altered with their DNA. That's the best way that we can describe it. And they see this
hybrid.
Yeah, this cross between the alien creature and themselves.
I've seen things about that, yes.
Okay. And now
humans with bigger eyes, skinnier bodies.
And now they're getting to the point a lot more recently in times when it comes to modern day abductees that the human alien hybrids are becoming more human-like, but yet have more alien. The best way is intellectual thought going with them.
But the thing is with that is, where's the proof?
When it comes to this topic, okay, this is what I get with a lot of people. And it's the same thing with any kind of abduction.
I'm only saying this to be a conscientious person who
and I understand.
Believes and maybe disbelieve, but this is more for the listeners than anything.
Absolutely.
So, as you being a pretty much goddamn expert, pardon my French, sorry for all you Christians out there, I'm sorry. For being a pretty much expert on this subject,
right.
you know what you're talking about. Where's the proof, though, of this?
At the end of the day, when it comes to this subject, especially when it comes to alien abduction, is that most of the information is done through hypnosis. And when
hypnosis?
Hypnosis, yes. And when this is done with these people, it's called hypnotic regression. Mm-hmm. You know, you do, and it's no different.
Oh, that I've heard of.
And that's no different than anything.
I used to live down the street from a hypnotist.
That's no different than anything that you
never
would find.
Went to one.
That you would find with a regular psychiatrist, you know, the people who have repressed memories or have, you know, murders that need to be solved. There might be memories that are locked in your brain that you just don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But the problem,
I know there are plenty of memories in my head I don't want to think about.
But the problem with this subject is that hypnotic regression can be manipulated. It can be problematic. People make up things that didn't really happen. Okay, but
the only way I could see if somebody was truly hypnotized that their brain could be manipulated is by the person doing it.
True. And that's the statement that I was going to make next, is that you have to have somebody who is completely professional in this. But you're also talking about somebody who's an amateur. Most people who do this kind of research and most people that do alien abduction regression, they're not licensed hypnotists or psychologists. Mm-hmm. So they're taking it based on face value. But the problem is that you're talking about people who do not communicate with each other, have no idea about anybody else's testimony, and they are saying the exact same thing in exactly the same order to the same person. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know about you, but in any court of law, if somebody tells you the exact same thing in the exact same way, that's evidence that would hold up.
I would think so, yeah.
Even if it's speculatory, which I'm telling you right now is that this kind of research is out the window because you're talking about hypnotic regression.
Yep.
But at the same time, you can't discredit that these people are having some sort of trauma. These people are having their lives altered. Some of them don't even want to go to sleep at night. There are cases where abductees...
They're afraid of going to sleep.
There will be cases of abductees that will have the lights on in their house.
They're afraid of sleeping.
They don't want...
They're afraid of what will come into their house in the middle of the night.
Have paranoia going on.
Even if their doors are all locked, they just still somehow have a way to get in.
So
that's a good Whitley Strieber thing, or Stryber, depending on how you pronounce his last name.
His case was he didn't even know that he was abducted, but for some reason
that's in my area, upstate New York.
Oh yeah,
that scares the heck out of me.
In his case alone, he would find himself locking the doors, and sometimes he would think that he had a ADD, and he would go back and do it again.
Yeah,
because he had this overwhelming fear of something happening to his family, and he couldn't figure out why. So why in the world would you be perfectly fine 1 minute and then all of a sudden you have these feelings? Something's not right here, okay? And so back to the original notion when it comes to the ancient alien theory is that still this has been going.
We got about 10 minutes left, I'd say, for the Minisode.
But this has been going on for millennia, okay? The basic premise of what we look at is that the human genome has been manipulated and tampered with since the dawn of the evolution of this creature on this planet, okay? Now, it may be Bigfoot, it might be just, regular apes evolving into human beings. We don't know that. There's no definitive proof, okay? But from what we're trying to gather and what we're trying to understand is that this could be the missing link. And if this is the missing link, it has been a long-term...
So the aliens essentially would be the missing link, not Bigfoot.
Yes. Bigfoot is part of the link, but it's not the missing link. The missing link here is...
Well, anytime anybody thinks the missing link, they think of Sasquatch.
Right. But
so the ancient aliens are essentially, in your term, the missing link in the genome for humans.
They're the missing link because without that extraterrestrial intervention, evolution wouldn't take place as we know it today.
They did say that there was a huge leap, technologically wise, for humans. That all of a sudden we went from, what was it, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, the Iron Age.
You have to look at it from that perspective.
Next thing we know, we're flying in the sky and we're developing lasers. How come all of this stuff is happening so quickly?
We went essentially from horse and buggy
to cars
to the moon.
Yeah, to the moon.
In less than 150 years.
Yep. Now, what propelled that?
How is this possible?
Was it just brilliant minds that evolved? Was there intervention?
Yes, and I'll agree with that. There's a lot of people that will say, oh, you're discounting human ingenuity. I'm not discounting human ingenuity, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it from a perspective that as time goes on, if you're going to have that kind of an increase in intelligence and you look back in time and there isn't an increase in intelligence, there's something going on here. Because if you're going to go with the idea of an evolutionary path being a slow process that takes its time, why don't we see the dolphins building cars? Mm-hmm. Why don't we see the elephants building buildings? Okay, why are we so unique? That's something interesting. And you see through the skeletal remains of our early ancestors that there is a progression going on here. So it's almost
You're
as
kind of
if...
swaying me onto your side at this point, man. You're getting me thinking too much.
But this is the part that has to be said so that we have a better understanding, is that once you see this progression of the human race progressing, you start to see larger brain size, you start to see upright posture and this and so forth. And that, in and of itself, is perfectly fine when you see the early humans, but all of a sudden you get to anatomic, there's that missing part there that makes no sense.
And you want to know what that missing part is going to be?
What's that?
Part 2 of this show.
Part 2, ladies and gentlemen.
Part 2 of this show.
We're going to leave you with that cliffhanger.
We're going to leave you with a little bit of cliffhanger, ladies and gentlemen, because we hit the 30-minute mark. So, this has been Unknown Territory Minisode number 1 with KVK and the man they call Dave. And always remember, there is unknown territory out there, still uncharted, that any of you can go looking for. So we hope you enjoyed this show. Gotta get something out to you. And have a good night.
Thought I saw you jump the Utah train, but I could not say, I could not say. Heard you tried to keep your hat on the shelf. Married a woman, went off and loved someone else. Could be as well. I cannot tell. Oh no, I cannot tell. Oh, 'cause the story I heard is that people are born, and the measures you take just to wrestle your Lord. All the money you take, all the memories you spill. Will he measure your time? Will he measure your will? Oh, now. One of these mornings will be the loudest you hear. You write your story on firecracker